my god, my hair. Forgive the back here, guys, but I had tried to review this movie last night. I tried to review it today. This is not the movie review channel, and I don't have a special interest in Christian movies per se, but do not watch Allison's Choice. Just do not. You will find it offensive if you have a pulse, let alone anything else. You remember the Jesus from the Encounter where he was really shitty and he explained genocide because people didn't worship him? Remember that Jesus? Well, he's back. And he's not only a serial killer this time in his delivery, he's sexually frustrated serial killer. And he keeps talking to this girl in this low, growly voice. He keeps talking to her. And it's that kind of creepy delivery. And the best thing is, baby girl is at a Planned Parenthood clinic. So yeah, that's great that he's stalking her there. He's playing a janitor who is Jesus because this is his thing. He now does this role, and he got his start on soap operas. I looked up the guy that plays Jesus. You can tell he never grew beyond, I guess, what was the horny bad guy. You can tell he never grew beyond that role because that is still the same damn role he's played 3 times I've seen him play Jesus. It's the horny bad guy with anger management issues. So imagine that Jesus. Now you can't get him out of your head. And I do want to talk about the film, and Loki's back there screeching, "Don't be ashamed of your kinks, celebrate them, it's built in, it's okay to have the hots for Jesus," and I'm like, this is so fucking wrong. So he plays Jesus like this sexual, he loves you so much, and he's so passionate for you. If you only knew what he feels for you. And it's like, do you need a moment? Like, holy fuck. And he's talking to this girl, but you have no idea what her fucking age is. It's somewhere between able to drive a car and too fucking young for this guy to be talking to, because he ain't that young anymore. Let's admit it. She's getting long in the tooth. And the girl is an atheist because in their magical world, only Christians and atheists exist. And since she's an atheist, she asks intelligent questions like, well, if you're God, if you're this all-powerful, all-knowing, all-doing deity, why are children starving in Africa? That's a fault of you humans. You ate that apple. That is his literal shitty response to everything. That's why every bad, evil thing in the world happens. Rape, enslavement into prostitution, any bad thing that happens. I'm not talking about, freely working sex workers. I'm talking about like sex slaves and everything. All the terrible stuff, that's all because one human fucked up once. And she even tries to reason with him. She goes, okay, but that was a long time ago. And if you're Jesus, didn't you die to end that? Zoe, the fucking apple. No, I literally didn't. That was someone thousands of years ago, and she didn't even do, like, the thing that anyone else would do. Like, you literally stole that story from another religion. But basically, this Jesus is a real dick to her. Her boyfriend was date rapey, so that's always great, but Christians can't tell the difference between consent, and she's a woman, so he owns her. Even though they're not married, that's just how it works in this universe. So she's obviously at the clinic. She doesn't even understand something wrong happened to her, but she's at the clinic because that's normal in this universe. She's at the clinic. Her boyfriend forced her to go there, and then creepy, sexually attracted to her Jesus is trying to force her not to. And some of his lines in this fucking movie are, this poor girl is sitting there and she looks way too young for anybody. She's sitting there and creepy fucking janitor Jesus approaches her and he has the mop. He says, "May I?" And he's looking at her that if that were your daughter, you would fucking knock his fucker out. You would. And she doesn't understand. She thinks he wants her to get up and move, like most normal human beings would, but who the fuck mops the floor in the middle of the day anyhow. He wants her to lift up her legs so he can put the broom underneath. And I'm like, run, girl. This guy is fucking crazy. Run. And he just, through the part I could watch, he just keeps methodically stalking her and talking to her. And Satan was the good guy in this movie because Satan was rational and Satan played a nurse or a doctor. You were never sure what they were. And you never find out her choice at the end, apparently. I could not watch it the whole way through because Jesus is just being a dick to this girl, just wearing her down and wearing her down and wearing her down. And it's going to be great being an unwed mother with no job, no prospects, no boyfriend. It's magic's going to happen. Yeah, magic. And, yeah, laughter back here, but this Jesus in this series of films, you have to understand, promises people shit, then it fucks up horribly, and he's like, yeah, well, that wasn't on me, that's because of humans. So he might promise her a good life with her child, but one of them might die of a horrible disease, and he'll go, well, it wasn't my fault. He is a dick. And the only good person is Satan. And Satan plays a nurse, doctor, something you don't know. And there are these two, one's an angel, we think, because she keeps trying to talk the girl out of it. She's like the only compassionate character other than the devil. She's like, I don't think you're ready for this, honey. Have you had everything explained to you? Which she did not. I mean, there are apps that are better than this place. She just goes in and she signs and they're like, yep, good to go. And she tries to talk her out of it. She says, I don't think maybe you're ready to go through with this, but you never can tell. It's so poorly written. You don't know if they want her to go through with it or not. And she's getting her off the floor at one point because the girl goes, can I be somewhere alone? And they take her to a storage closet and let her curl up in a ball on the floor and cry her eyes out. I'm not fucking with you. Meantime, creepy Jesus comes in and is sitting really close to her, like her head would be in an unfortunate place, and you can tell he wants to put his hands on her in the worst way. And he's literally telling her stuff like her baby is his baby. And he's reaching into her body and forming it so that's his baby. And randomly screams about they're killing my babies. Like, he literally fathered all the babies on the planet in Evers, and I'm like, holy shit, girl, call security, but nobody else can see them. And they're still going to let her go through with this procedure, even though nobody can see magical, janitor she's talking to. Anyhow, we're getting to the devil, I swear. She's there on the ground, like crying her eyes out, and the nurse angel thing comes back to get her, and there is a token black character in this film. The less we say about her, the better, because she is so offensively written. It's like the writer from the KKK was like, yeah, I can write that character. I'll do a good job. You'll see. It was bad. It was bad. And she's got like frequent flyer points at this clinic. That's all you have to know. It was fucking terrible. Well, they're vaguely getting her off the floor, even though they let her lay on the floor in the storage room. And Satan comes walking in and says, what's happening here? Why did you let her lay on the floor? What are you doing? There is a chair right there. What the hell's wrong with you two? And so she gets the girl and she's taking her for a walk and she says, walk with me. I'll have you meet the doctor. You can talk this through. And then Satan tells her common sense stuff like, okay, this is your choice, but if you don't go through with it, here's what you can see. And the terrible things she could see if she chose to wait till later to have a family are things like finishing her education, taking herself on expensive cruises and vacation all by herself, buying herself expensive jewelry, getting a nice condo to live in because she's not spending all of her money like a crazy person. And she said, you can choose either way, but, you seem smart. You seem like you have it together. You don't really seem like you want a family. So Satan's the only one with common sense. And the film was just so fucking horrible because it was teaching stuff like women belong to any man they are with. Even, I swear to Christ, there was one case in this film that was so bad that they were saying that was okay. And I'm like, That's literally a fucking relative and that's literally rape. No, that is not okay. No. And they're like, it's okay. And I'm like, what kind of fucking crazy brand of Christianity is this exactly? And then I remember it's sexy serial killer Jesus who he comes off as sexy like the janitor in porn comes off as sexy like he's usually really ugly and you're ashamed of yourself and he's really not turning you on, but you know what he's after, and you just feel filthy and dirty afterwards. It's sexy like that, just so we're all clear. And I can't laughter back here. It was such a horrible movie. I felt unclean, like you feel after watching some of those basement pornos. You feel like, what the fuck did I just watch? What kind of fucking porn was that? Oh my god, I've seen some fucked up kinks, but this is the absolute worst. And he was just all over this girl. It was fucking creepy. He apparently does a show as this Jesus character too. Where he just walks up to people and talks to them and tries to convert them to Christianity. And I'm like, can I hit him? Can I hit him? Is this an option? Because I want to hit him. Because he's creepy and he's talking to girls way too fucking young for him to be talking to like that. It was just creepy. So, I didn't want to talk about it because I'm like, that's a very sensitive subject. And to me, it's like, it's none of my fucking business what another woman does with her body. So, yay, you do you. But it's also like we're snarking at this movie because of course we are. And he's going blah 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 about his infinite wisdom. I'm like, yeah, that's why I can't fucking have children. Good one, Jesus. So like he's back here like, yeah. So yeah, and I'm like, that's also why I came out with birth defects. Fuck you. Were you drunk again? You need to get into a 12-step program. Stop making that fucking one. I will tell you that right now. So this was not, if you're new to the channel, this was not actual Jesus. This was at this fucked up version of Jesus, and it was like every Republican ever must help write this script. And the bad ones, I know Republicans don't give two fucks about how you vote or what your religion is. The bad ones, just so we clarify. So yeah, it was bad. It was really, Jesus shouldn't sound like he's aroused by looking at you and he also wants to fucking kill you too at the same time. He should not sound like that and he should not say shitty things that he does to people. He was telling her how her father never loved her and how nobody's ever going to love or care for her, but that was okay because she had him. I'm like, that's exactly how a fucking predator talks to people. What is wrong with you? And these atheists did a brilliant review of the movie. I think it was God Awful Movies. Yeah, it was. And they had, I think, they had a therapist come on. And she said, there's clearly something wrong with this girl. Now, from the atheist perspective, she's seeing, like, Jesus. And they were talking about what kind of possible diagnosis and that. I'm like, well, as a pagan, I can get that she's seeing a god, but this is the fucking creepiest god. No god should talk to you that way ever. That was so wrong. It was like you're literally trying to pick women up at a Planned Parenthood clinic. What the actual fuck is wrong with you, dude? Go away. And we kept like waiting for Shiva or Vishnu or somebody to show up and kick his ass and defend the women. Never happened. I'm like waiting for his mom to show up and beat his ass and saying her body, her choice because his mom had to make a choice. And I'm like waiting for this to happen. None of this shit ever happened. It is fucking scary. And on his, acting credit thing on, the movie database, it's like he's proud to have played Jesus more times in any film than anyone else, and he's always a fucking psychopath who is turned on by the sight of you, so it's something to consider. Please do not watch that film. It's so fucking crazy. I mean, from the obviously token characters to not understanding how Planned Parenthood works, to not understanding that women aren't baby machines, is a fucking horrible movie. So, if you guys like what you see and still want to watch the channel, like, comment, subscribe. But Loki was insisting. He's like, you have to talk about that movie. It was so shitty. And I'm like, I know. I will never get that portion of my life back. We tried to watch another Christian film, which was even worse. It was like something like rock music, your choice. It was even fucking worse. This one we could at least do a video on. It was bad. It was bad. But I was aware it's a sensitive topic, and I'm like, hey, none of my fucking business is what it is. So I will see you guys later. Bye bye.